lighting, and we have eye lights inside Smout's head. A lot of little details, and that's one of the things we're kind of proud of is our attention to detail. The metal ramp, here's the latest metal ramp, and again, all these extra laser cut things. You can see where the extra time and money is going, and the extra effort that we're putting into the game. We're really quite proud of it. Do you want to talk a little about WAS software? Do you want me to go into? You give him a mic over there.
Right now.
So yeah, the driving force for the new WAS release, obviously, is the Pindemption stuff that we're going to release. Basically, turning the pinball machine into a redemption game. So, you know, we have one next to the Hobbit in the hall, over the Pincade's booth. Basically, there's no score. All you're doing is playing for tickets. So there's like basic rules in the game. Every time you do something like spell a character or go down the yellow brick road or take out the witch or whatever, you're getting tickets. And the game shows you how many tickets you want. And every time you get tickets, you see tickets on the screen. And so that's, it's been tested for like, I don't know, at least 6 months now, I want to say, right? And we're going to let it go in the wild and see what people think of it. So along the way, from, you know, every now and again I get some time and I add some other stuff. There's been a couple things on our users group have been complained about a lot, like people, they can't get their high score, they can't put their initials in the game, the scores are too high. So, you know, that was an easy thing that we just, you know, yeah, now you can put the scores really low if you want, and you can put your name in the game. Grace periods, it mostly refers to multi-balls and stuff like that. You know, one of the things that I've done in the past that there wasn't an Oz yet is, you know, resurrecting multi-balls by starting another one or getting added balls or whatever. Those are finally in the game. Added a couple of extra balls that weren't there before from horse of a different color to give you yet another reason to try and go for that. There's one in Fireball Frenzy now. Lots of bugs. People email me stupid things here or there, and we try and fix them. And also, as the system just matures, like as we work on Hobbit and stuff like that, you know, everything that we do to the whole system gets wrapped in the Wizard of Oz for its next release. So basically, as time goes on, as our system matures, so will all of our older games, and we'll keep releasing them, and you know. So if you buy a game from us, you know, you get support for a long, long time. New odds and adjustments, nothing too big, you know, nothing too big there, but you know, if you have ideas that you want to see, you know, it doesn't hurt to mention, and you know, maybe you'll get in someday. I wouldn't count on it anytime soon, but you know, we're here, we're listening, and you know.
Can you turn? I'm still on here. And a couple of things I wanted to add to Keith's also. We listen to our customers. People want to put more than their initials in a game. You got this big screen up there, right? I put my name in there. Now you can put your name in there. Little things like that. When you have all these extra balls and things like that, the other changes to modes and things like that. Everything that's new to the game, now you've got adjustments, and you can fine tune that, tweak it just exactly the way you want to be. Make it as easy or as hard to achieve as you desire. The game is just so amazingly adjustable to set it up. It's like a personal computer type pinball machine. You can set it up the way you want it to play. And like there's no place like home. My wife hates that pressure. There's no place like home. It's counting down. Oh, I can't get it. So we just turn off the timer, and she plays as long as her ball, and she's much more relaxed. She enjoys it more. That's the way she likes to play it. So naturally, that's the way our game is set up. That's the way she likes it.
Right now, if you go to the support site on the Jersey Jack Pinball website, all the software is up there. 505 has been released as Keith was speaking. So at 8:30, it went live, and so here's a word that we trademarked. By the way, the hats we're wearing, a fellow New Yorker, and not a friend, Donald Trump, has this hat he's been wearing all over the place in different colors, and it says, "Make America Great Again." And And I looked at that and I said, wow, how cool. So we registered Make Pinball Great Again. And on the back it's Jersey Jack. So, thank you, Mr. Trump. When he gets in, the White House will be about 14 stories, and it'll be an interesting place to live. But you know, I was thinking of this also the other day, not politically correct, but if pinball rules actually ruled the world, how much better would the world be? You know, I mean, we make something that's fun. It makes people forget their troubles for a little while, and you know, you look at TV and you see a lot of bad things happening. Well, know that there really are a lot of good things happening around the world too. It's just not something that the news really reports on. So while things are bad and we could all work to try to make the world better, we're trying to make the world better in our own little way just by building some pinball machines. So that's what we're trying to do. What is Pindemption? So here's a word where I took pinball and redemption and made one word out of it, right? So go ahead, Butch. So we received a patent for what's called the Pinball Machine and Redemption System. And it's been published in May of like 2013, I think, so it was up there a while. And people could read it. And it enables us to do a lot of things that only we can do. And guess what? I want it only so that we can do it because I'm tired of innovating and being imitated. So innovate instead of imitate, that's all. Some of it we'll be able to get to sooner, and some of it will take us later. You know, certainly I want you to take this thing and connect to a pinball machine and have a whole different experience doing that, and the patent enables us to do that. You get the next one? So, key ways live and die by. You know, if I tell you a game makes money, out. So here's a question. So Lola, what's Lola?
Lola is a this company up here.
Oh. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets, right? Okay. I don't want to put money in your mouth or words in your mouth, but so whatever Lola wants, Lola gets, right? And what's Lola?
Lola's a location notice.
Right. So if a game fills up with money, Al typically raises the price. But so if a game fills up money and it's on test, it's worth more, right? So it doesn't matter if I tell you the game makes money. It only matters if the game goes to a location and it makes money, because what I say really doesn't matter. It's what the game says that matters. So with Pindemption software, I knew last fall, around the Hobbit time, that we weren't obviously going to build the Hobbit. So kicking and screaming, I pulled Keith off the Hobbit software, and I said, listen, you got to help me make this Pindemption software. And he wanted to do it, but you know, he wanted to work on the Hobbit. But I said, I have a few months to do this. So what did we do? He developed a software package that now it's on the game that's in our booth. And a lot of years ago, Fred, where's Fred Young? Fred, you did an amazing voice on a pinball machine. There really wasn't a pinball machine, right? What was it? It was a redemption pinball machine, right?
The mini was called the mini. You mean the infamous Punchy the Clown?
Yeah. Can you do that voice for a second, Fred? Fred, hang on. Hold on. Hang on. This is worth it. Hang on. No. Just do the voice.
Well, there was two voices on the game. The non-funny voice was, "Hi, I'm Punchy the Clown, get ready!" But the voice that, and I'm just going to go on with the voice that everyone wanted to hear, which they really went crazy over, was the voice where the kids beat up this terrible clown. It was called a mini pin. It was a redemption and a pinball machine. And that voice went, are you ready, guys? Hi, kids! I'm Punchy the
Fred's an amazing talent. He's a funny guy. Don't get next to him at 2 o'clock in the morning in the lobby. So, pinball and tickets have joined forces before. Bell Ringer, Mushroom World, What else, Roger? What am I leaving out? A couple others maybe here and there? What? Ticket-tack-toe, right? That was a wacky-looking cabinet, I remember, you know. So, what I always felt about those games was, why am I getting tickets? You know, why am I getting them? They're just kind of awarding them to me when I get a high score, or, you know, I matched or something like that. So it's like you took a ticket dispenser, and you charged an operator $700, and you bolted it to the side of the game, and hey, I got a redemption game here. There you go. So I didn't want to do that. We have this beautiful 27-inch LCD monitor. We're able to show you, as you're playing the game, why you're winning tickets. Keith took his rules and collapsed them. And he made easily achievable objectives in that game, so that when you play that game, it's a fun experience. Okay? Now, maybe it's not pinball to all of you or all of us. However, these are collection reports from an amusement center in New Jersey called I Play America. And during the time in 2014, for January through August of 2014, this is the collection report of the 4 pinball machines that were there. So funny, there's 2 Pat Lawlor games, Grand Prix and Monopoly. Now, this arcade, Al, I don't think you've been to I Play America, right? Well, you haven't been there yet. Next time you come to Jersey, you have to come there. Your friend George McAuliffe did a story about it in Replay. He loved the place, it was grandchildren. So you gotta come up here. So I play, you can't really see it completely, but, so the Grand Prix, this is for January through August, so that's 8 months, did $1,264, the Monopoly did $2,174, one Wizard of Oz did $3,520, one Wizard of Oz did $3,357. I will tell you that games like Al's games, in that same period of time, did like 70 grand, okay? So this is kind of like mice nuts in the location. It's like, really, you need a pinball machine in a location like that? Why would you operate a pinball machine? It's a very, very, very competitive location. That's where I wanted to test it, in the worst place in the world to test a pinball machine. So when we put Pindemption software into the game in January, remember way back in January, I was freezing my coolie off, in London, on the Thames, and I introduced Pindemption there, and we showed it at the London show. And then after those games, that game, actually that game stayed there, but we put the software in games that I play. So for the same time period, the first Wizard of Oz game did $6,755, which was an increase of 192%, and the other game did $5,825. In that same time period, an increase of 174%. And we have week by week by week collections. So there were some days where the game did, you know, $80 or $90 a day, or $100, $120 a day, which is spectacular for a pinball machine in a location like that. So, you know, now, with the full release of Pindemption, what it is, we're going to get these games out on the road where operators have games on location. So Pindemption will be available 3 different ways. And the software that you download does not contain, it contains Pindemption, but you can't activate it, okay? You have to buy a dongle, okay? So you have to take this dongle and plug it into your computer, pull out your old dongle and send it back to us. So, you know, Keith gets paid like I get paid and all the other guys get paid, and it costs us a lot of money to do the software. It's a lot of trial and error. But the home customers, I know that you want to play collapsed rules. You want to have a simple game for the young people. And what Pindemption brings to the table also is timed play. Okay? The French people always, when I go to shows, the French come up to me, all the distributors and operators, and they say in my bad French accent, "We must have the game for 3 minutes. We cannot play pinball for 2 hours with your American players. We make no money." So, okay, good. So you can have a 3-minute game. So you can adjust the time on Pindemption. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? A little bit more than 3, what's the max? Up to 5 minutes. Okay, now it's up to 5 minutes. What does that do? So if you're not really a good player, and you get knocked off the game in about a minute and a half, well, you get to play a game for 3 minutes. If you're a really great player like Keith, and I play against him, maybe somehow I get lucky and I get a good ball, and I actually get closer to the score, or it's one day a dream to beat him. Okay, so it levels the playing field. You can do virtual tickets on the screen as your score, or you can do a score as your score, right? You kind of have to see it, but so in the three different ways. For home, we're going to sell the dongle for $399. So for a limited time, we're going to sell the dongle for $199. And what you're going to find is it's really great. If you have kids, if you have guests that come over, even yourself, it opens up a whole other game for you. It's like buying a whole other game for $199. That really doesn't even cover our cost of anything. Where we'll make our money is selling these to operators. Because operators don't even want to take this. About 100 Wizard of Oz games on location, which isn't much. But operators right now, the guys I've talked to about this, they don't want to take their existing Wizard of Oz and make it into this because then they feel they lose their pinball player. They want to buy another game and set it up for Pindemption. So what I play, you have an embed system, you swipe the card, you get tickets on the screen, the tickets go on your card wirelessly. We also have a kit, you can go to the next one, Butch. So yeah, adjustable time play, tickets awarded, virtual or physical. I'll show you the physical ticket dispenser. Game-specific shot awards, new presets and settings, built-in player skill compensation, and the dongle. Go one more. So there's a couple of games. These are the two games that I play, and they have a topper that actually tells people to win tickets. Part of the success of this game was this. You know, Keith's programming and his patience to stay with me to do this thing, and the stream. But the other part was the first day we put it in there, and I called Keith up, and kids swipe their card, and the button is blinking, and the screen tells them to start the game. You can see over here, it's showing them what to do. It's showing them to press the button, pull the plunger, swipe your card, and it has the iPlay logo there and everything. Kids have no clue how to play pinball machine. The start button, game starts itself. Guess what? They don't shoot the ball, they don't know where it is. What's the game do? The game shoots the ball for you. Okay? So now, it just taught you how to start the game and how to shoot the ball. So after one game like that, guess what? And I watched thousands of kids over these 8 months learn how to play pinball. So you have to teach them how to do it. Go one more pitch. So that's the topper for the game. We'll sell that too. Ticket dispenser. Give me another shot at that. Better one. Okay, good. Thank you. So this is a triple ticket dispenser made by my friend Al Kress. Right? Great, reliable. I wanted the best ticket dispenser on the market. It's not the cheapest, I'll tell you that, but it's the best. Okay, that guy, forget about it. But it is the best, okay? It's triple. Why is it triple? Anybody know why I put a triple ticket dispenser on the game? Yes, you, in the front row.
If you want to be able to dispense lots of tickets.
Right. You want to be able to dispense a lot of tickets, and the way that ticket net works is that when one runs out, it goes to another, and it goes to another, right? So it has its own draw, it pulls out really nice, it has its own key, so a location owner doesn't necessarily have to give a key to the location, they can just give them for the tickets. And also, you know what, you don't screw up the side of your cabinet and put these ugly bolts through the side of it and everything like that. The Wizard of Oz is a work of art, Hobbit's a work of art. I don't want you defacing the game, so if you mount it underneath there and you wanted to take it off later on, you're not going to do any harm to the game. What do you got next? So Pindemption, it's wide and deep ocean, and what I'm going to be doing with a couple of people in my company, a month from today is IAPA, the International Amusement Parks and Attraction Show, and we'll be there. We'll be teaching operators about this. We'll be getting games on location. We'll be doing open houses commercially. We have a finance program that we're going to announce for operators commercially. We're going to get a couple thousand pinball machines out on the road. You know, that actually make money. And when these operators make money on them and it becomes a relevant piece of equipment, that's what they buy. So, anybody have any questions for anybody right now? Yes, Mark? You need a microphone?
If you want to encourage home buyers to take out the Pindemption option as a time-to-play feature, why don't you release a cut-down version which doesn't support the ticket dispenser or any virtual tickets being dispensed, but still gives you the time-to-play option for a cheaper price?
So, I appreciate that, and I get that, but I don't know. You know, a sheet of Invisiglass is almost $300. So, you know, to buy a whole new game for $199 for limited time, I don't think that's that much. It would probably, take Keith a lot more playing around with to do it. I get what you're saying, and maybe I could have thought of it that way. But if I was going to be ruthless and I didn't want anybody to buy the thing, I could just say, well, the thing is $5.99, and whoever wants to buy it, don't want to buy it.
And we didn't forget the home buyer.
Huh?
We didn't forget the home buyer. We
Well,
put in
the
special
home customers will put us in business, so,
Yeah.
you know, I want them to participate. You know, I had some home customers say, you know, I could get an 8-timer if I want to play on a time player, you know, so you have all kinds of customers there. So, yes.
So that's the home buyer, and of course the arcade that has the redemption prize booth already going has an option there. Did I hear you a month or two ago say something to the effect that you also have a way that redemption can be used by the street operator?
Right. So in the patent for Pindemption, the other part of Pindemption that we need to make come alive, no secret, we need to build a Jersey Jack Pinball app. And then you download your app, which is free, and you'll be able to connect to a Jersey Jack Pinball machine on a location, right? So instead of tickets coming out of the game physically, the tickets go into your account on your app. And then you can take the value of those tickets and redeem them at a redemption center in the cloud. So now you put every street operator who does not have a redemption counter in a bar, laundromat, wherever that is, you put them in the redemption business. So that's all stuff that we actually did on, you know, playing around with it. We didn't build the app yet, but the connectivity we have. And again, you know, I wouldn't do any of the really heavy shovel work to do this until we receive the patent to do it. So that's part of it. You know, we can establish scoreboards, leaderboards, tournaments. We can do a lot of different things. So it's just, you know, getting started. Yeah, Dave.
I'm going to ask you about the apps. So, I was going to ask you about the app. So you're talking about a cloud-based redemption center that a street operator could actually have like 3 ticket machines or whatever redemption in a...
Well, they have our games, Jersey Jack Pinball.
Right. So you're going to open this market to other games like Benchmark to maybe jump in here, because that's a big thing, that you can have basically a...
You need a new microphone, I think. Hang on.
You basically can have an unlimited redemption center, because that's the biggest problem with redemption centers is supply and demand, keeping that product there or at the bar. If this is going to be all cloud-based, so it's required to be shipped to their house.
So look, I don't know. If you have, think about it this way, right? Downloading jukebox, right? Downloading jukebox, download songs, and the operator pays for the content. So in the case of an operator, the operator pays us for the content that they pay out of their game, which will be redeemed for prizes. And then we buy the prizes, right? So the fulfillment of the prizes comes from an Amazon kind of company, right? And so we could have really cool things up there. You want to throw out the first pitch next year at a White Sox game? That's an experience prize. You want to go on a Carnival cruise, you want to go to Atlantis, you want to get a car. We want to give you spider rings and Dracula teeth up there. You can do that at your own redemption center, right? So what I want to do again is change the paradigm of what operating a redemption game is. And a pinball machine, we know, thanks to Roger Sharp, who had to leave for a phone call, is a game of skill. So it's legal in all 50 states, you know. In New Jersey, I'll say this, in New Jersey, we're the only pinball machine that's recognized by the state of New Jersey as a redemption game. So we had to get the game legalized in the state of New Jersey. So I got a letter from the Attorney General, you know, in February saying, Jack, you did it again, congratulations. The first time we have a legal redemption pinball machine in the state of New Jersey. So, look, if I can go somewhere and play a pinball machine, and I can win stuff, all right? Because in the amusement centers, the only 2 categories right now to make money, what are they? Right. Yeah, hang on. You know, when you have somebody doing this 80 years in the business, you have to...
Close to it. Are any of you operators here? I want the rest of you to think about something, okay? You've probably got a collection of 3, 4, 5 pinball machines, okay? Whatever it is. Think about putting 1 or 2 out on a location and getting into the business of putting machines out. The majority of operators today do not want to put out machines. They're not interested in pinball machines. They've become fat and lazy, like myself. Okay? And they're interested in making money in their jukeboxes and their pool tables. They're making not much money in any of the other things. The video game business is dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Okay? Think about becoming entrepreneurs with your collection of machines, getting to somebody, put one out, and then make enough money so you can buy one of them Jack brand new. But think about that. Thank you.
And that was not a paid commentary. You know, I know Al, I used to buy games from his distributorship, coin machine distributors back in the 1970s. And, you know, he helped me be in business, so I listened to his advice. And actually, Al has a distinction. He probably owned the first family entertainment center in the country, right, up in Westchester. He kind of pioneered that concept when he opened this big warehouse kind of space with all kinds of games, and everybody thought he was out of his mind until everybody else followed him into doing that. So when he talks about that kind of stuff, I listen to him still. And, you know, he calls me on Sunday morning after we both go to church. I go to St. Monica's, and he's an usher at his church, so we talk about the gospel sometimes, you know, the pinball gospel, right? So, operators today, again, on location, they don't have much to buy. It's pool tables, dart games if they have leagues, jukeboxes, video. Unfortunately, it is gone, and you know, pinball. Alan, you operate pinball machines, right? So, how many pinball machines do you operate?
Over 50 at this point, and then maybe the 20 in modern that has some attachment to.
So about 70 pinball machines. And you started with how many?
1.
Ah, see? See, that's what happens. Starts with
Sounds
one
like my
people.
collection.
Yeah, and they're all making money. Yeah, there you go. So, Al, it's possible. Those guys do that. Any other questions? Yes. Chris Granner, the great Granzo. Chris Granner in the audience there.
Something struck me that you had,
I'm going to work off the cheeseburger.
Doing great. Hey, everybody. So you had a great, the high score table move that you made to lower the high scores. What a cool idea. What a great idea to get everybody involved in the high scores and get everybody a chance to enter their initials or enter their name. Whosever idea it was a great idea. So my question is, you know, you have, I understand that you have a computer in this machine, and I understand that you're not afraid to use it. I've heard that line. You're going to hear it again. My question is there any reason why I shouldn't know? I'm just a guy, a private citizen, I play pinball. Who has the highest score nationwide or worldwide on a Wizard of Oz game? Where do I have to go? Why should I not be able to go right to that game and press some combination of buttons to bring that information up and say, today, on October 15, 2015, the high score of the game can be found in Streamwood, Illinois, because Keith Johnson was the guy, never mind that, but, you know, somebody who's got the highest score, right, worldwide, it's a thing, right? And that ought to be a thing. Okay, that's all I got to say.
At least he didn't mention Judy Garland this year.
That thing came up, the lowering the high scores. That's something that somebody came to me at a show, and I brought back to Ted, and we talked.
And they listened to you.
Yeah, and we listened, and you know, the guy said I'm a Boy Scout troop leader, and my Boy Scouts come over on a Saturday night. And
It wasn't Ted, was it?
No, it wasn't. and they said, you know, we wanted to set the scores down and let them see who got the high score that night, you know, and just set it really low. And I went to Ted, and he started scratching his head a little bit about it, and he says, you know, that's going to affect a lot of other things, and we'll think about that. And, you know, we eventually get to that.
Thank you. And Chris, really, I do envision that in the app. So I'd love to see that in the app where, you know, we tell people, hey, today there's a tournament. Go play until a certain time, or go here or go there. You know, it should be a locator for the games that's accurate. There's a lot we can do once we bundle this all together.
No matter what.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's a lot because
to have success. It's all about having
yeah,
success.
pinball. That's what, in my opinion, right? In our opinion, that's what pinball needs, right? It's not just about, well, the theme of the game is this, or the theme of the game is that, or how many ramps, or how many flippers, or how many this and that. Because we appreciate that, but again, it goes back to the non-playing public, which unfortunately is a lot more than us. We have to attract those people to pinball if we're going to be relevant, really. And, you know, the way to get back on location is getting on location because I'm an operator and I understand what it is to have games on location. I had games out that I had to pay for that didn't make me any money, and it's not a good thing. So we want to try to get pinball machines to be relevant again. And these are some of the ways that we think we can do it. Who else? Any other questions? Yes?
If I have the dongle plugged in, can I go back and play the standard 3-ball game without having to go in and plug and unplug the dongle every time?
I should have said that, I'm sorry. So all of those settings are right on the front door. So you put Pindemption on, you turn it off, everything like that. The dongle is just a way of enabling the game to activate different code or different versions of the game. So that dongle actually tells the software what your serial number is, what country the game was built for, what version game it is, if it's an Emerald City or a 75th anniversary game or a standard game, so that when we get to the downloading era, we'll be able to broadcast code if you want it downloaded, and when it gets downloaded to your game, it knows that you have a 75th anniversary and he has a Emerald City. That's why it's there. So the dongle stays there. And I'm sorry I didn't explain that. Yes?
Can I ask a question?
You can ask anybody a question. You can ask somebody, you can ask him a question. Ask him if he's got a hotel room.
Pat, it's been 2 years, about. But what I'm interested in is man hours. How has this project compared to like the time you put into the Williams games and into Pinball 2000, as far as just the man hours with your team?
Thank you, Pat. Oh,
Is that working? Okay. First of all, before I answer your question, I want to publicly do something. Since I came to work for the company, I haven't really talked to all of you. And I want to thank Jack for giving me the opportunity to do this. To directly answer your question requires a little bit here. If you take a look at Wizard of Oz or you take a look at Hobbit and you compare it to almost anything else that's in the other room, you see a product that has a lot more going on, okay? And that lot more going on doesn't translate to just twice as much work. You know, we've got the screen and we've got the pinball machine, right? And so your natural inclination would be, oh, that's twice as much work. Except that's not really how it is. It's more like 5 times as much work, okay? Or in some cases, if you're building an infrastructure that Jack is alluding to, it's 10 times more work. And so the joke that Chris told there was something I told to him a little bit earlier tonight. The neat thing about Jersey Jack, the reason that I came sort of out of semi-retirement and I'm doing this, is because I saw the opportunity to change the product. That I've been standing in front of you for years and I've been complaining a along with everybody else, that the operators weren't making money anymore. Nobody was changing the game. We just kept grinding through ramps and dots and flippers and ramps and dots and flippers. And how long could we do that? You know, we have a real computer in this machine. In 1992, we would have died to have had this horsepower. Okay, we have horsepower. We have all the horsepower of a computer that sits, a modern computer that sits on your desk. And we have all the technology available that goes with it. And we're not afraid to use it. And that's a testament to Jack, because he comes in, when he comes into Chicago, and what he says is, I'm not here building cheap pinball machines, I'm here building fun pinball machines. And so, the wrong thing to do is tell people, oh, we're here to save the world. We're not here to save the world, we're here to build something fun you can play. And so to directly answer your question, I've been working on what I've been working on for the year and a half. For those of you that know a little bit about me, you know that the way I design games is different than other people. I have my own shop. At my house, I have 2 CNC machines. I have a complete model shop with lathes and mills and a complete metalworking shop. And I have all the computer stuff that goes with it because I started out in the business program. And so over that year and a half, I built a Pat Whitewood. And the Pat Whitewood is at JJP, and we showed it, and we have the ability to play with what goes in it. And right now, the rest of these ridiculously talented people behind me are taking this crazy idea I had, because Jack said do an original Pat game, and they're turning it into, things have changed. In 1992, when you had a crazy idea for a pinball machine that was an original idea, you had a game team and you kind of got the game team to agree with you, and then we all headed off and remember that 10 times the amount of work thing, the way I answered your question? That 10 times the amount of work thing can't be done by one person anymore, or 2 people, or 3 people. It takes specialists. It takes specialists who do the art, and it takes specialists who do the sound, and it takes specialists who do the software leads, and the specialists who do the infrastructure that make that all go. And the specialists that do the web stuff, and the specialists that do all those hundreds of little boards that go in there that are now talking to the computer. Along with the rest of a normal game team for pinball, which are the mechanical engineers. And, the list goes on and on and on. So when you go in the other room and you see the Hobbit, and you see that the Hobbit was reworked over the period of a year based on a year ago, that's an incredible commitment from a company to say, we value our customers more than we do shoving a product out the door. And the end, to get back around to your question, we have a lot more to go on what I dreamed up. But the people behind me are the people who are the real talent here. I'm just the face of the deal. They're the ones that are going to get all the credit when we're all done. And when you see what we're working on, you're going to raise your hands and go, I never believed a pinball machine would do this. It's going to be cool. And it'll be fun.
Anybody have any other questions?
Jack?
Yes?
Oh,
good, I didn't have to run all the way back
Right,
here.
I think, people won't have to work.
Feel bad for me, I know.
Just wanted to know, is it possible that somebody could quickly go off and tell us how you update your machine. Because I've done it, but maybe there's some that don't.
That's a good point, thank you. Hi. Go ahead. How can you update the game? Lloyd? Got your microphone? Lloyd the Great. Watch those keys.
Well, you go to the Jersey Jack downloads page. There are instructions on there. Also, you can download the manual if you don't have it. The current manual, page E2, step by step by step, the full install. You're going to need a program called Unibootin. It takes a couple of minutes to download. You need that first. And I like to use separate memory sticks for this stuff. Take one memory stick, go over to your game, go to utilities with the game on, do the backup settings, so any of your special scores, coil strengths, pricing, anything, save that. Custom message, except for it doesn't save the picture. Doesn't save the picture. But, so save your settings. Then guard that stick, put it somewhere. So then take a brand new stick, and well, first, on the download page, download the 5.05. And depending on your computer and your internet speed and stuff, this could take a couple hours, more or less. Once this is done, and you save file, I usually throw it on a desktop. Then you open Unibootin. Then you're using Unibootin, you open the 5.05. You got a thing on the left, you got to click, a thing on the right. Then you select what it is. Then it starts. And now it's going to run up to like file 24, and it looks like it gets stuck. It doesn't. It's a big file. Then it stops at 25. It can take 15, 20 minutes to download this. Once that is done, then you go over to your game, turn the game off, open a coin door, take your USB stick, plug it into the USB cable, turn the game on, and this one's a little bit quicker, probably about 15 minutes, puts the update in there for you. The screen will tell you when it's done. Pull out the memory stick, turn the game off, close the coin door, turn the game, wait about a minute, turn the game back on, you're good to go. Then go back in and restore your settings. And like I say, on page E2 of the manual, you've got this. On the download page, there's instructions too. And email me, call me, I'll walk you through it.
There you go. Thank you, Lloyd. That was easy.
I'm sorry? Unibootin, it's just a program used to put files that large on a memory stick.
It directs you to that program too, right? Doesn't it say suggested you download that program? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, if you go to the download page, the Unibootin's on there, the 5.05 is on there now, the manual's on there. Well, if you've done Delta updates, you don't need it. This one, the 5.05, is a full install. No, there's been quite a few. 1.24, I think, was the last. Yep. Well, like I said, there's plenty of instructions out there, and I'm around noon to midnight every day, Central Standard Time. Call me, email me, smoke signal, something, I'll help.
Thank you, Lloyd. Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, my question's for Pat. Pat, longtime fan. I've heard you speak before about your uninterest in redemption games, and so I'm just wondering how you feel about your game potentially being used for a redemption game. I think you equated it to juvenile gambling or something like that.
It's fine. My feelings about redemption have to do with pure redemption, and I don't consider this isn't exactly pure redemption, and I don't want to relive that that part of of doing things that I do. There are operators in this. You've heard me talk for a long time, I gotta clarify this, you've heard me talk for a long time about what we used to do was for operators, okay? anybody who's seen me year after year after year, I get up and I ask how many operators are in the room. We already did that tonight. And, you know, back in the day, 98.5% of all pinball machines ended up on the street. They all ended up in bars and taverns and bowling alleys, laundromats, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the industry